All right, everybody, welcome to NorCal Sports Network. And this is the same hat that Brock Purdy's dad wears. Chat loves it when Marty Lurie comes on.
Anytime you lose a game this time of year, when you can't go backwards, it's a problem.
All right, everybody, welcome on in. NorCal Sports Network live. Thanks for being here. Make sure you give this a like and a subscribe. Let's see if we can get to 100 likes tonight. We're already, before the show, sitting over 45. So make sure everybody gives us a nice like. Would appreciate it. Guys, let me get the band off here. All right, we're sponsored by Chapman Law Group. Chapman Law Group, located in Marin. Give them a call for all your legal needs. Make sure you check them out. Chapman Law Group, they can help you out. Maybe you got a legal matter. Maybe you just need some documents. Give Chapman Law Group a call. You got a drug issue and you've been arrested by the law? Give them a call.
DUIs during the holidays, be careful.
All right. Yes. Yeah. We're dealing with we're dealing with the holiday time. That's right, Lou. That's right. Let me get the Chapman Law Group down. And guys, let's just see if we can get to 100 likes tonight. Let me type that in. Get to 100 likes. I got 1,100. That would be nice. One day it'll be to 1,100, Lou. Wouldn't that be nice? 1,100 in the chat.
Thank you, Mark.
There we go. Where is Mark? Let me get to the comments.
The camera looks better. Dan was getting upset. Too many people wanted to see my beautiful face, so I spent $4.99 to get an additional light on top of my computer.
There we go. That's nice. That's nice. You're nice and bright. Now we just need to get a banner behind you. We'll get a little banner in there. Maybe we get a NorCal Sports Network banner ordered.
Yeah, I got stuff, but I don't know if it's going to go where I'm located. I mean, I got the ballpark. I got Durham jersey sign, Tiger Woods. I'll put some up. I'll surprise you.
Okay, very good. All right, guys, as we get into this, we got a lot to discuss, and let me give this let me see if I can pull up an email, or not an email, a text I read from a Dodger fan, a friend of mine. Listen to this. From a Dodger friend of mine who has a perspective, longtime follower of baseball. He's a couple years older than me. He's probably, 3 or 4 years older than me. So he's been watching baseball even a little longer. This is what he wrote to me the other day. Giants need to essentially field a AAA team with all their best young position players. Schmidt, Sable, Fitzgerald, Eldridge, Crawford. He must be talking Reggie Crawford. Okay, he doesn't know all the injuries and stuff. But Luciano, Jung-Hoo Lee, Encarnacion, McRae, Matos, Ramos, and let them take their lumps. But play these guys for 80 games to let them get their feet on the ground to either sink or swim, so organization can properly assess which guys you build around and which guys to package in a trade. It might lead to a 100-loss season or two, but that's what happened to Houston and then Baltimore. Teams were built through the draft, okay? And then he said, let's see, what is this one? The LA Dodgers have a rich history of developing players that excelled in their rookie year, winning the National League Rookie of the Year award. on team's current active roster, the team only yields 3 position players that came up through the LA Dodgers. Okay, let's see. This isn't anything to do. Okay, forget this last one. But yeah, so and this has been my thinking for quite a while, and it just made me think, you know what? Hey, what up, Robert? Good to see you in here. Yep, hit that like and subscribe. There we go. Hit that like and subscribe. And let's see, can we get to those 100 likes, guys? Where are we at with 100? Where are we at? I don't even know where we're at in likes. I can't see it. But guys, everybody hit that like button. And we had a good start. People were coming on beforehand. So let's so anyway, here's the take for tonight. And we're going to bring up some evidence behind it as we get further going. The Giants, now they have Chapman at third, so they've kind of thrown that off. They could have had Casey Schmidt there, but let's get a shortstop in there. Maybe you go ahead and sign Ha-Seong Kim, but let's put Casey Schmidt at second base. First base, I don't think Eldridge is ready yet. I think it'll take at least half the year, if not most of the 25 season. Outfield should be Matos, Lee, and Ramos. I would have liked to have seen McRae in there. I don't understand the signing of Yaz. It makes no sense. But the Giants really have a group of young players that they could grow together and see where this thing goes. The other option is, Lou, look, they're bringing back Bobby Evans, who we'll have on the show in a few weeks here. But they tried to do a compete type thing with Bobby Evans and traded for McCutchen. That didn't work. Then they tried to sign that was the same year. I think they got McCutchen. Then they got Melanson? Was that the same year? They got Melanson in 7.
But they had to get Melanson because we had nobody in the bullpen to stop her.
Right. So
there were 3 of them out there, and of course we picked the one that was the cheapest, and he was unreliable. Mm-hmm. He survived half a year and a half. That was it.
Hey, good to see you, Ron. Ron Raquel, long timer there. Good to see you, Ron. So, anyway, if we can, they've tried this constant rebuild. They did it last year. They got to get away from these Hanigers and Solairs and Mark Cannas and Confortos, and they got to get away from these type of people that are just mid. You either got to get stars or play the young guys. Stop filling in with mid talent.
Yeah, the middle of the road is not working. You got to go one or the other. And then the other thing you brought up is Farhan's biggest problem is he got people hoping they were going to be the same player 5 years, 8 years previously. Sort of the same thing as we got Chapman. And that's not going to work when you have young guys that are hungry. Either you got to go all young or go all veterans. We're in that middle lane that we've spoken about before. It doesn't help to do half-ass either way. And by the way, the fans would be fine if the Giants would say, guys, this is what we're doing. Give us time. Instead, they sort of hush, middle. Oh, we're going to do this when they really do that. It's okay. You guys gave us 3 championships, so we're going to give you a little wiggle room, but stop lying to us. It's like when Farhan, biggest thing is he said, guys, we traded Solar because we have young guys that we're going to play. In 3 weeks, he got 6 at-bats, and then he got sent down. That's not playing the young guys.
No,
there's a lot of BS.
Farhan sabotaged this whole organization. Now he's looking to go back to the Dodgers where he came from. It's almost like he was a plant, it's like a Russian spy or something. My goodness, did he?
Larry Bear's fault. Larry's the one that wanted him.
Yeah,
He
Larry
came from
Bear
the
should.
Dodgers. He was the one that hired him.
Yeah, take Larry Bear out to the pasture. Come on, this is ridiculous.
Yep.
This has to. The Giants have to. They cannot keep signing guys middle of the road, hoping to compete. What's the definition of insanity, Lou?
Doing it over and 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 over again.
And
The same thing.
expecting different results.
It's the
Come
same
on.
thing. Oh, yeah. And you got to remember, most of our guys are off Tommy Johns, off shoulder surgery. I mean, it was so ridiculous. And by the way, the guys we were picking up, as we called them during the last year and a half, crumbs, were guys that no other team wanted.
Right.
Not one other team in the major leagues wanted them, but we would say we would take them because hopefully they could do what they did 3 years ago. Maybe they can, be a decent fielder. Maybe they can make contact or they have speed. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's amazing. We're going to get into this, guys, of different teams, but I want to show you something that I think you will find pretty remarkable. In fact, I will get to this because I think the Giants need to choose the model that the Astros and the Orioles did. Take a look at the Houston Astros in 2001. They were 93-69. They came in first place in the National League Central. Then next year, they were over 500 in 02, 03, 04, 05, 06. 07, they started to lose, came back in 08, had a winning year. And then 09 and 10, no, and then they just decided, you know what are we doing here with the middle of the road? Basically, if you look at the Houston Astros from 2006 to 2010, that's pretty much what the Giants have been for the last 5 years, with the exception of 01. We'll throw in 05, that's a winning season. And then look what happened in 11. They lost 106, then 107, and then 111. And then in 14, when the Giants were winning their last World Series, they were 70-92. And then look what happened since 2015. Winning year, winning 16, 17, World Series champs, 18, 103 wins, 19, 107, 3 consecutive 100-year wins. 2020, forget that year. Then 95, 106, 90, 88, playoffs every year. They even made the playoffs in that stupid 2020 year, I believe. So we're going to throw that out. So 17, 18, 19, that's 3, 21, 4, 22, 5, 6, 7 straight years of the playoffs. What would you guys rather have? Would you rather? Yeah, you better hit in the draft. Exactly, Mark. You better hit in the draft. But you cannot sign the doggone middling players, as George says. You can't keep signing these players. You either got to go young or go with the top guys. Forget these guys that are middle of the road. It's just absolutely mind-boggling.
And
so,
Dan, what was the record in 2012 again?
The Astros?
Yeah.
It was 55-107.
Okay. If you guys remember, that was Matt Cain when he pitched the perfect game was against Houston Astros. And they actually only had one star on that team.
Altuve and Martinez was what's his name? Altuve was in the lineup, and so was.
But they had 4 bad years. Now they got, they turned it around and they got a machine.
Yeah, they got a machine is right. I want to show you another situation. Let's take a look. So we just looked at the. Hold on here. Let me pull this one up. Oops, I'm hitting the wrong button there. So I'll pull up this other team here, and we will look at their year-by-year record. And here we go. All right. Let's pull this one up. Who do you think we're pulling up now, Lou?
Baltimore?
You got it. Baltimore Orioles. Take a look at the Baltimore Orioles. Pretty bad team for a long time. But then...
And in the toughest division in baseball.
Right. From basically 2000. Well, even 1998, losing record. 99, losing. 2000, all the way up till 2012. Started winning. Had couple of winning years.
Almost as bad as the A's.
Yeah. And then they really decided, you know what? We got to get really good draft picks. I mean, they were obviously not drafting. They were not drafting and developing well. Okay. But look what they did they lost 115, then 108. And then in 2021 lost 110. And now look at them. They're on their way up, and they should be going up and up.
And their farm system is loaded. Loaded.
Yes. So what I want to pull up to you guys is, let me see if I can get this to work. There we go.
And Dan, Camden Yard was still filled, even though the team wasn't that good. Just how Oracle Park will be. It'll still be full. You know?
Right. Yep, exactly. And this thing, for some reason, Wikipedia is not pulling up here. And so it's going to give me a problem. So let me see if I can do this a different way. Come on. Are you guys hearing background noise in my coming out of me at all? Are you hearing anything, Lou?
No, could it be me? I got the ball game.
No. I hear my wife talking in the background.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know if it was picking up her voice.
No.
And
Dan, while you're doing this, a couple things the Giants. I'm going to give you 3 things the Giants have really dropped the ball on. Trade deadline, trading people to get prospects. 1, the international market. I don't know anyone really we've gotten from the international market that has made it to the big leagues. And number 3, we really never really thought outside the box. And what I mean by that is some of our previous GMs said, guys, we have reached the bottom. We need to do something. We need to get rid of certain people to start over again. And, you brought that up many times. We don't want to be in the middle lane. I mean, how can a team be happy when we're not even 500? But what's worse is we're 3 or 4 games below 500. Where if we're 10 games, we get a better pick. We have more money to spend. It's just really, it's been really bad, hush and hush. And it all goes back to, since 2008, our farm system and people we drafted made us win the 3 World Series. And then the GM would pick up little loose pieces to take us over the top. We haven't done that at all.
Right. Exactly. A name that comes to my mind, I'm not sure how many baseball fans know this as we have watching here, but there's a common name with the Houston Astros and the Baltimore Orioles. I don't know if anybody knows that, but this man was the architect behind the Orioles rebuild. And look he also was with the Houston Astros. Does anybody know who this is we're talking about? We're talking about Mike Elias. He was the architect of the rebuild for the Orioles after leaving the Astros in 2018. Elias was hired as Elias was hired as the Orioles general manager and executive vice president in 2018. he was tasked with rebuilding the team after the Orioles had a disastrous 2018 season. In 23, Elias was named Major League Baseball's Executive of the Year for the transforming the Orioles from a 110-loss team in 21 to a 101-win team in 23. While he was with the Astros, he left the Astros after the 18 season to lead the Orioles rebuild. While with the Astros, Elias oversaw player development and minor league operations. I believe he was also, but this is not working here. For some reason, Wikipedia.
I didn't know about this guy. This is someone the Giants should have said, what are you getting paid?
Yes.
We want you.
Yes. That's
Proven
exactly
record.
That's exactly my point.
Yep.
Go out and get a guy that has done it with two organizations and stop doing it the way you've been doing it. I'm a little concerned about let's see, Adrian says a scout worth their weight would be coming the land for a home run hitter. Okay. I'm trying. Tahoe guy says trade Luciano, Eldridge, Rupp, Matos for Bichette, Vlad Jr., sign Corbin and call it done. That's not a bad idea.
Enough.
That's not a horrible idea of getting Bichette and Vlad if you can sign them to long-term deals. They're both going to be free agents. And do you really want to trade guys if you not have a chance of signing them? If you can knock out a deal, I'm for that. I would do that deal in a heartbeat if I had a commitment that was part of the trade, a contingency that the trade, kind of like when Max Scherzer went to Texas a couple years ago from the Mets. It was like the deal had to be that he was going to stay.
Yeah, and it's the same thing when somebody's traded, they have to pass a physical. Well, a lot of times these trades aren't done until the player being traded for gets an extension. It's the same thing. Mookie Betts was not traded to the Dodgers unless they had an agreement of an extension in mind. So before he put on the Dodger uniform, there was an extension, a 3-year extension that was signed. That's sort of how it is.
Not always so easy, as Ned said. If it were only that easy, yeah. It's not like we're playing fantasy baseball. And I can give Aaron a call. And but Aaron, we couldn't get a deal done at the end of the year. I wanted I don't even remember who he had at first base. He had somebody good. It might have been Matt Olson I was going after. I think he had Matt Olson. But yeah, sometimes it's not always easy just because you got different people in mind. Soto to hold final meetings this week, says Cole Dunston. We'll have it. Breaking news when it happens, guys. We'll get into Olson. That's right, Aaron. Yeah, I wanted Olson. I needed some home runs. Why aren't the Giants trying to get Juan Soto? Probably because Juan Soto's not interested in coming to the Giants. The Giants aren't going to. If the Giants were really, really wanted Soto, and they could have just went out and said, look, Juan, we're willing to pay you $900 million, even $1 billion. Here's the bottom line, though. You got to sign it now. Do you want it or not? Why not? Right, Lou? If you really wanted the guy, you just go to him and say, here's the deal. What you do is say, we're going to have a meeting with you. You're meeting in LA. You're going to meet. Here's our plan. Here's our, you want to know about our farm system. You want to know about our future, what we're doing. Okay, here it is. And then when it comes time to the offer, say, okay, we're going to make an offer that we believe you can't refuse. And
the Warriors did it with KD.
Yep. And you put it out there in
New York.
And you put it out there and you say, $1 $1 billion over 15 years. But here's the contingency. You can't go shop it. You either, this offer's good while you're here and you can sign it, or you can move on. But we're not negotiating anymore. We're putting out $1 billion for you. Now, what does that do? That probably gets you Juan Soto signed, and then the Giants still would have the money if they really, really wanted to win to go get a Corbin Burns, to go get a Hassan Kim, to go probably add another starting pitcher like a Nathan Eovaldi. But, I don't think that was ever on the table. I don't think it was going to happen. But what the Giants have to do, and Philip, you're kind of hitting it right there. You got to go. You don't need home run hitters. And not in this park. It's not a home run. It really isn't a home run hitters park, except for the big boys, the Bonds, the Otanis. A power hitting left-hander that can pull the ball, or a guy like Bonds and Otani who could get it out anywhere. That's fine. But your power is more for your right-handed guys. Eldridge should be able to pop it out, but you got to find guys that make contact and play solid defense. Right, exactly, Philip. Don't strike out. And you got to find guys that go gap to gap. When gap to gap, and I want to see guys line to line, because in Oracle, gap to gap doesn't get you anywhere because guys are playing in right center field and just blocking that off. Lou, when I played the game, if I saw a right fielder was playing that far over into right center, man, I am looking for a pitch to just knock over the first baseman's head down the line. I don't
run forever.
Yeah. And as soon as you start finding guys that can hit to all corners of the field, you will stop seeing guys play you in right center field. But the Giants don't seem to do that.
Yeah, what they need to do is Dan, I don't know if the chat remembers, but I know you remember when the St. Louis Cardinals played on AstroTurf at Old Busch Stadium. They really, except for Jack Clark, didn't really have any power hitters. So what they decided is they got guys that were slappers, that would slap the ball down on the carpet and speed. So what they did is they got a team, they adapted their team to the stadium they played at. They had an advantage because every other team came in wasn't the same as the Cardinals.
Correct.
The Cardinals would win 90 games, and they would concentrate on starting pitching, guys that would slap the ball, stolen bases like Vince Coleman, and then they would have a great bullpen. And the Giants, it's so funny. We're talking about something. The stadium hasn't changed in 20 years. The problem is the team hasn't adapted in 20 years. Right. We got guys that we're not even sure what their roles are.
Right. Imagine a lineup something like this, guys. Catching Patrick Bailey sometime in 25, Eldridge at first base. I don't think he opens the season. I don't think you see him before the All-Star break, personally. And I don't think you should rush him. There's no need to get him up into the majors right now. Give him some seasoning at double, triple A, wherever he's going to start, and let him, do that. And if he looks like it's just too easy for him, then bring him up. Okay, now, second base. Give me Casey Schmidt. Shortstop, figure that out. Third base, you're stuck with Chapman. The outfield is got to be Matos, Lee, and Ramos. I don't know what you do with McRae. I guess maybe you move off of him, or you move Matos. Somebody's got to be moved because these guys need to play. Your DH needs to be Luciano. Okay, they just need to get these young guys playing and get Roop in the rotation. Get Birdsong. Get Harrison. There's your three starters. You got Webb. 4 guys. I personally would trade Webb if I'm rebuilding, and I would get another hitter or player, or I'd get a couple of young stud pitchers that are coming up, and I would build that pitching staff. Webb is a really good pitcher, and he's being wasted on this ball club, Lou, because they're not ready to win. And you're not going to win with the middlings. You've got to go out and either get stars or just play the young guys. Stop doing this mid stuff. Conforto, Yaz, Haniger.
Doesn't work for a whole season. It might work at times.
Right.
Maybe 10, 15 games, but it doesn't work for 162.
Jock Peterson, Tommy LaStella,
just fill-ins.
Estrada. And I'm a little concerned about something else with this, Lou, is the guy we brought in to be the general manager was the same guy Farhan hired to kind of oversee the baseball, what was his title? I'm sorry, I'm getting 100,000 texts. I got to turn off my phone. I'm in the middle of a live stream and I'm being texted by like 50 texts. I can't focus. Drives me crazy. So I lost my thought.
Our GM now, what his role was before, he's a Farhan hire.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I don't know what his title was, but it was something to do with knowing all of the players in all of Major League Baseball. Okay, so what he was doing, he was responsible in a lot of ways for what Farhan got credit or criticism for, was these guys like Wade and Yaz. So I'm wondering, where was this guy's Manias, however you say his name, it drives me crazy. I can't get it right. Maniason, I think it is. His what the heck? I can't even think right now, man. I got blown up with text. I'm going to take a 5-minute break. Okay.
No problem.
Remove myself.
I think it all comes back to the Giants are doing another safe hire. Buster's the name, but we got a guy who obviously we're hearing from Dan that he worked with Farhan. He's the one that literally would get players from other teams, scrap, deadwood. It's just gotten to the point now where, again, it's all about safety. It goes back to hiring Melvin. Melvin's not a great manager in my mind. He was good maybe 8 or 9 years ago. A lot of people on the chat, I forgot who it was specifically, said the Padres loved getting rid of Melvin. Now it comes out, here's another thing. It turned out that Farhan did do the lineups when Melvin denied it. That was something that we spoke about a lot. The problem right now with the Giants is the Dodgers are known as the beast, top of the heap. The Padres are the team that are trying to knock them off. Arizona, young, trying to get where San Diego was a couple years ago. The Giants that are living off the past, and Colorado just trying to get better. And that's not a really good way. Last couple of years, all you ever heard about the Giants is we were close to getting Judge. We were never close to getting Judge. Do you guys remember when Judge, all he did was go back home to his folks during the holidays and people said, oh, he's meeting with the Giants? Come on, that's not it. Second of all, with Ohtani, we never gave Ohtani the same contract. That is more lies. That are Giants front office just telling fans we tried, but we weren't. Giants are not smart enough to defer money. They were never going to do the exact same contract. And if you guys listen to that, I got some ocean beachfront property in Arizona right by Dan's house for sale too. Stop hearing these homers, these guys like Andrew and all of them that work for the Giants. They are told one thing: be positive. That's all you ever hear about. Giants are doing good. It's one of those things where you're never going to hear anything negative. That's why KMBR doesn't even have a station anymore. They're firing everybody because they have so many people that lied, and now they got caught. Same thing with Farhan. He's no longer here because he told fans, but he never followed through. Okay? It's become a big problem with the Giants. What is the Giants' identity? Giants don't have an identity. We don't have superstars. We don't have an identity. All we're known for is our ballpark. We're not known for our players. We're not known about anything. We used to be the team that had 3 and 5 years, but the Giants are running out of giveaways. Now, what do? Best thing that happened to the Giants this year? Our stud, homegrown, that we don't have, shortstop, retired. So now we can have a day and honor him. That's the only thing we have.
Yeah, yeah. George makes a good point here. The Giants are not far off from Arizona or San Diego, especially San Diego. San Diego lost Musgrave, as you said, for the season. They may lose Profar, Tanner Scott in free agency, and Arias maybe on the trading block. I wanted Arias for the Giants last year. I thought he fit the ballpark and the team well. But the other thing is about San Diego, they are losing after this year Dylan Cease and Michael King. So San Diego, baseball can change very quickly. As you saw, The Orioles lost 7 games in 21 and then won 100 and something in 23. So it can turn around.
Look at the Kansas City Royals, Dan. In 2016, they lost to us. 2014. They went to the World Series 2 years in a row.
And then they've been
lost
nowhere.
Everybody, but now they're back.
Right. And they're coming back where the Giants are not, because Kansas City, they got Bobby Witt Jr.
Yeah.
And they got a couple other young players as well. But the Giants can get back into things if they sign the right type of players.
That's the key.
But,
you got to sign the right players.
Right. I just prefer either, as we've done this show before and we've been pretty on it, is pick a lane, right?
Yep.
They just need Adames, or I think he means Adames, Hassan Kim, and just go for pitching, plus Lee played with the guy. Yeah, that would be good. The other thing is today, Hassan Kim was posted. He's a second baseman out of Korea, a 300-plus hitter, got some speed, stole over 30 bases. He's a guy that could fit. He's a contact hitter. Now, I think, I want to see Casey Schmidt be given a shot because he's got an excellent glove. Let's see if he can get the at-bats in time. And, he's proven he can hit in the minors. Give him an opportunity, enough at-bats. And I'm not talking about 300 at-bats spread out over 6 months. I'm talking 300 at-bats in 3 months, 2 months. What do you get? If you play 30 games, you're looking at probably 130 plate appearances, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So, every 90 games should give you over 300 plate appearances. I'm looking at half a season and not over the full season. Give him consistent daily playing time. Let him figure it out. Look, we see a lot of young hitters that struggle at first. Look at Jackson Holliday, who came up. Remember, everybody said, oh, he's going to be the most amazing player, the can't miss prospect. And he may very well be. I think he is going to be a great player. But he struggled like crazy, and they had to send him down last year. It's not easy to come up. And
big difference between AAA and the majors. Majors are the creme of la creme.
Yeah. We got a random question here. Hold on here. My chat moved here. Dan, can I ask you a random question? Sure, go ahead, Jake. Ask away. Put it in the chat. Let's see what the question is. We'll get to it when it comes up.
And people don't realize how big coming out Jackson Holiday was. He was a shoo-in, a no-brainer. That's why I'm so worried about ours. You know, the height
Eldridge,
is
yeah.
beyond the control.
Yeah, just let the guy develop naturally. When
Exactly.
Jake, Robert Rothberg says you like dusty roads. Is that the question, the random question? Jake, Giants, good days, bad days thing. Jackson, what is this the random question? Robert Rothberg said you like dusty roads.
You mean the wrestler?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't. Yeah, must be. So, yeah. So, I mean, yeah, the Giants can't make the same mistake with Eldridge. Look,
and they should learn from what Baltimore just went through with the Giants with Eldridge. Remember, we all think that they basically, Farhan did it to save his ass. He got fired. So there's no need to bring him up right now. Because here's the other thing. If this guy's as good as we say he is, if he comes up and he struggles, that's another mile back the Giants have gone. We need him where the pressure's not all on him. Because remember, guys, last year the Giants had two major problems. We said it all year. We overused the bullpen too early. We had nothing left. And we could not hit with runners in scoring position. I mean, it got sort of comedy. We left 12 runners on. We left 13. We left 15. You know, the other thing, too, about the Giants that we never even really harped on, the major leagues made it easier for you to steal. And the Giants, I think, were dead last in stolen bases. Again,
they were horrible. They were horrible.
What was in you, you know, and that's something that the Giants didn't do. You know, we realize the Dodgers are the beast. So what are we going to do when the Dodgers are that good? How can we be, you know, comparable? And if we got to have a couple bad years, why the Dodgers are great, that's fine. But just be honest with the fans, you know?
Yes.
And again, we'll do it this way. The Dodgers and the Padres, where they are now, took steps, you know, get two guys 1 year, play their youth, pick up another free agent. Now you have three guys. Your youth's now another year. The Giants never have done this. We've had Band-Aids to hold a team that was mediocre, and that's the results we got.
My buddy thinks Eldridge is another Brandon Belt without the glove. I can see it. Time will tell. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah. And, you know, Brandon Belt was never the big – I mean, he was supposed to be the big power hitter, right? Brandon Belt. And actually, Eldridge, he doesn't even have a position. He's trying to learn first base. Let him learn it before you bring him up. I mean, my goodness. That's an interesting point there, Aaron. Thank you for that. Boy, the chat is flying tonight. Hey, guys, we are at 75 likes. We're only 25 likes away from 100. Let's see if we can get there tonight. All right, everybody? 25 more likes to go. If everybody would just do their part, give us a like, really helps the algorithms as it spits this thing out to more people, and more people get to hear about the Giants, not just in the Bay Area, but all the way to New York, where Robert is, all the way to New York. And I'm going to take a quick little break. I've got to make a phone call. It's related to the show here.
Got to call your agent?
Well, I got to talk to somebody in the front office right now, and before it turns 9 o'clock here.
Yeah, do it.
And so
all right, I got something for the chat.
Be a short call. I'll be right back, though.
No problem. I got a thing for the chat, guys. You know, I've been watching a lot of baseball tonight, you know, watching certain things. And I know I've asked this before. Where's Soto going? I'm hearing rumors he's going to Toronto, which he could be the man of the country, or he's going to Baltimore. And what that's going to do is all these other guys that we want to go after, New York are going to go after him. So I'm just letting you know. Yeah, Dan's trying to get Scott Boras on the phone. That's a good one. But I like that, Jake. Yeah, I don't think he's going to the Mets. You know, they say now he's gone from 6 down to 2 teams, and it's not New York. So, you know, it's one of those things. But besides Soto, you know, is there anybody that can make a difference with the Giants? Is anybody in the chat think there's one player that can make the Giants excited? All right, here. Is there any player the Giants can get that will actually make you want to go see the Giants live instead of on TV? Because right now, all you hear about the Giants is we have good announcers. That's all you ever hear. There's no stars. There's no nothing. You know, I think it's crazy. And Robert, you keep saying Posey's not going to do anything. Posey's not going to do anything. I keep trying to tell you, Robert, Posey is a guinea pig, okay? Mediocrity. He doesn't know what he's doing. He hired a GM under Farhan. Giants haven't done anything. So, yes, they will. You're the same person that said the Giants had the best starting pitching last year. What happened? It exploded. Giants don't have the best starting pitching last year, and they don't have the best starting pitching this year. Giants pitching is so bad, Robert, that the Giants didn't even give Snell a call or a contract offer. So, you know, I'm a little sick and tired of you always saying, I know you're positive and that's great, but you got to come a different way. You know, Posey, like I said, is a guinea pig. You know, we'll see. Is he going to do anything in the meetings this weekend? He's not going to do anything. He has people above him. What's going to happen for the Giants to do something is they got to make a splash. Because if they don't make a splash, guys, the Giants, again, are going to be a fourth place team out of 5. They're not exciting. Yeah, he's a guinea pig, you know? So just to let you know, Robert, I love how you think, you know, but Buster right now is just a name. You know, once Buster makes a move and he actually convinces me that he's going to make a difference, you know, you can keep talking all you want, but he's a guinea pig, you know? You know, and Dan brought up a great point. We hired a GM, a guy that worked for Farhan. We can't go outside of the organization. We've had a mediocre team. He was one of the assistant GMs, and we still gave him a promotion. It's all about being safe, you know. And I'm sick and tired of the Giants being safe. I'm sick and tired being a season ticket holder and being a fan of all the BS that the Giants give us. They're all lies. You know, it's horrible. It's not fun. You know, I mean, this weekend we should all be fired up. The winter meetings, the Giants are going to make a move, but they're not. You know, they've already told you 2 things, and this is about Buster. We signed Chapman 6 years, didn't need to. He also has a no trade clause, so we can't get rid of him unless he wants to, okay? And why do we bring back Yaz? You know, it makes no sense. For $10 million, let's forget about his $10 million, get another $5 million, and get another starting pitching. You know, it's the Giants got to realize they got to stop doing what they've done the last 6 years. You know, Robert, I didn't say Posey doesn't have pride. Posey was a great player. He's a champion. He's a Hall of Fame player. But now he's the president of operations, completely different. He's never done it. I think it's over his head. That's why he's trying to get all these people. I think we won't know how good Buster is for 4, maybe 6 years. I don't think he's going to do anything. That's just how it is. You know, the Giants the last couple of years, all they thought about is Mission Rock. All they thought about is being real estate. They never really cared about the team. You know, here's something that was on one of the calls the other night, and somebody brought up on the chat. Giants wanted to give Ohtani $700 million. They didn't get him. The year before, they wanted to spend $360 million on Judge. They didn't get him. But now this year, we're cutting money. Well, what happened to all this extra cash we were going to have for Ohtani and Judge? Where did that money go? So I'm just letting you know. Robert, why did he take it? I think he got forced. You got to remember, Buster probably owned a very, very small, minute ownership. Okay, they probably gave him 2%. And again, I'm not sure how much ownership he is because, you have a majority owner, and they probably said, listen, if you fall on the knife for us, take it for us, do president of operations, give us 3 years, we'll give you maybe an additional 2%. Ownership is worth a lot, especially if they sell it and down the road. That's what I think why Buster did it. I'm just telling you, unfortunately, that's probably the facts. So, but is there anybody, guys, besides Soto you want? Everyone talks about getting Burns. Is that going to make a difference? I'd rather, get Freed. I'd rather get a lefty than Burns. Burns was on Baltimore. He was up and down, but he's also more money. So, and I can tell you right now, there are other teams that want starting pitching as bad as the Giants. We don't know if Baltimore might come back and go back to Burns. I'm not a big fan of Kim because Kim's coming off another injury. Guys, I'm sick and tired of us getting guys that are either off Tommy John surgery, shoulder surgery. I mean, Dan's talking about our lineup. We have a guy who has such a rare injury with his shoulder. How do we know he's going to be Lee's going to be okay? I don't want a shortstop that can't play until the middle of May. We already went through this crap with our pitcher, Ray. Oh, he came off Tommy John. He'll be fine in July. It's like picking somebody up. Guys, it didn't work, okay? Dan keeps bringing up a point we should get pitching. It's a lot easier said than done. It's not always that simple because there are 25 other teams that are also trying to get pitching. Me and Dan were talking out there. Don't you guys think Pittsburgh, since they have a young stud, wants maybe another pitcher? So now you have the 1-2 at bat. Giants right now, we don't have anything in pitching. We might have a stopper who was great last year. We'll see when the pressure's all on him. We all know about Webb. Everybody in the chat, especially, who thinks Webb's the next Cy Young. He's not, okay? 2 years ago, he had a losing record, even though he was second. Yeah, he does a lot of innings. Also, the Giants had a losing record when he started last year. Okay? So let's get this straight. The Giants are mediocre pitching, and if we're going to do what Dan wants, we got to get Burns. If we don't get him, you got to have plan B, but we're not. It's guys, you got to be realistic here. Hicks, there was another horrible move. Guy never pitched more than 72 innings. Guy had 110 innings, hurt himself. We're not even sure if he's coming back. Okay, Robert, you keep talking about Webb. He's being 28 years old. He's in his prime. That's why Dan thinks it's a good time to trade him. And you're telling me he's in the prime of his career. 2 years ago, he had a losing record. This year, when he pitched, the Giants didn't win. He's only maybe a solid number 2, 3 starter. He's not an ace. We go through this. All right. Finally, somebody listened to me. Yeah, Paul Skeens is a stud. Don't worry, they'll get somebody. But somebody said they'd be happy with Pete Alonso. At least we get first base taken care of. I'd rather have Pete and his defense than late night Lamont. Pete can actually hit the ball occasionally. Late night Lamont, off that injury, wasn't the same player. So I think that's something, but again, Alonso is level of one of the 25s, like a 20. The Giants need to make a statement. Baseball is right around the corner, guys. And you know what? Everyone's talking about the Niners. Nobody's talking about the Giants. The way the Sharks are playing, the Sharks are going to be top of the Bay Area. We need to do something to get the Giants back because, guys, I don't know if you guys noticed, January's around the corner. February's around the corner. Pitchers and catchers are going to go to Arizona. This year, baseball starts March 27th. We need to do something to make a statement because, guys, Giants have been below 500 for the last years. We've only had one winning second half of the season. We need to do something just to get the fans excited. Right now they're not super excited. You have a thing where the Giants, when they were back at Candlestick, had about 11,000, 12,000 real fans. The ballpark, over 20 years, we're back where we are now, Dan. There's like 12,000 real fans. The season ticket holders have dropped. It's the Giants. I mean, here it is Christmas. And I remember growing up Christmas, I would always get my Giants jersey, a new jersey. I had two things. I get my Notre Dame or Larry Bird jacket growing up and a Giants jersey. Pride. It's like Dan's hat. People, San Francisco is a Giants town, more than the Niners. When the Giants are going good, everywhere you see the merch. All the bars have the pennants up. It's not like the Niners. And the reason why, guys, it's a 9-month love affair. Football is good for basically, 18 weeks when the Niners play. But baseball, that's why people love it. It's 9 months. It's not a sprint. You see people, Giants fans, spring training, everybody has hope. We got to do something. We just can't keep what we have. Sorry, Dan.
No worries. Good. Covered. Good stuff. Mike says, would I be happy if they got Burns and Kim to start free agency? Yeah, I think that would be a good start. I mean, I think Kim is better than any middle infielder the Giants have right now. And Burns, I said all along that, I said on this show that I thought the Giants, when we did our prediction show, I had Corbin Burns coming to the Giants, and I said it would be a 6-year, $210 million deal, somewhere in that range. I think that's, let's see, if he does 30, what is that calculator? If we did 200 divided by 6, 33, I think it's going to be probably 220 divided by 6. Yeah, that's 36.6. That's what Snell signed for. I think he just gets the extra year. I think that's what it comes down to. He's going to sign for about the same amount. Maybe he gets closer to 37 and he gets 225. That's $37.5 million. I don't see it going any higher than that. If it's a 7-year deal, Cole Dunson says 210. Yeah, it's going to be less AAV, but I don't think it's going to go 7 and 210. I really think he gets 6 and 200. If you can get 6 and 210, why would you take 7 for 210?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's definitely getting he's definitely getting 6 years, I think. Robert, I disagree because he's got a lot of innings on him, and he can't keep throwing 200 innings every year. He's had Tommy John in the past. I don't think Logan Webb is a guy. I think he's a really good pitcher, and if you're going to have a competitive team, keep Webb. If you really think you can have a competitive team, there's two schools of thoughts on Logan Webb. One is keep him and have a really good team around him where you are actually a good team like 21 team was. If you're going to have if you're going to have the 22, 23 and 24 version of the Giants going forward, what good does Logan Webb do for you? He's still a really good pitcher, but you don't have the horses to help him out. So look, when I say trade Webb, it's not a dislike of Logan Webb at all. It's that I think he's valuable and that you could actually get good players for him while his value is high. But let me tell you, you get Logan Webb with any kind of arm trouble in the next year or two, that particular contract is no good anymore. It's you missed out. You got to know when to hold them, and you got to know when to fold them, as Kenny Rogers saying, right? The gambler. It's also called buy low, sell high. Right now, you could have sold higher on Webb before. Look, the Giants have missed out year after year after year after year after year on not trading people. They could have traded Kevin Gausman years ago. They could have traded Carlos Rodon. They could have traded Wilmer Flores. They could have traded Lamont Wade last year. I said when he was super hot, I said, move him. Remember, he was on base at like almost 500 in the through the first month before he hurt himself. I said he's never going to have any higher value than he has now. But the Giants don't understand this. Look, Alex Cobb was another guy we said to trade at the trade deadline in 23. Did they trade him? No. Jock Peterson, they didn't trade. Look, Farhan was an absolute big, giant fustercluck for the Giants. A complete waste. He set the franchise back. He was here for 6 years. They had one good year, and he left. And now he left the Giants with and now he's going to go possibly back to the Dodgers. Is there a giveaway tonight? Just wondering. No giveaway tonight. We're at 3,531 subs. When we get to 4,000 subs, we will be giving away 2 more Giants tickets.
Nice.
Okay. But yeah, we're at 3,531 subs.
Happening quickly.
But we will have some giveaways probably next week, guys. I'm waiting on the 12 baseballs to arrive from Rawlings. They should be here, I was told, by Saturday. I think it was the 7th. Today's the 4th? Yeah, Saturday. I'll have to look at the
and Dan, have you told people what you're doing? So you're getting the baseballs, and you're actually sitting down for lunch with Mr. Schmidt?
Yeah, well, I'll go to the ballpark.
Awesome.
I'll go to the ballpark down here in Arizona where I live. We'll go down to Papago, and we will go watch Casey do some, training, do some Chapmans with them. I don't know of any other ball players, but I'm sure there's going to be other Giants players. I'm sure it's not just Casey and Matt Chapman by themselves working out. And we will get some baseball signed. We'll go, grab some lunch. FCSN. There we go. I love it. Fustercluck Sports Network. That's a good one, Aaron. So we will get the balls signed, and then we'll put them up here on a giveaway, and we'll
awesome.
Give it.
Awesome.
What's this? Other channels make you pay them $20 to enter for free gifts. NorCal just asked that you subscribe and type in the chat. Exactly. Yeah, you don't have to pay for just your presence is good. Your presence and a subscribe and a like is good for us, YouTube user. Yeah, no $20 here to enter for a free gift.
To pay for your own. Hey, guys, I just want to say one thing about the chat. It's growing leaps and bounds. Dan does everything on his own. He reaches out to people. We now have Ned every other Sunday. No other podcast has someone of Ned's stature. He has stuff set up from former GMs of the Giants. What he's done is he's turned this thing into a program year round, which is not easy. He's gone out, tried to get talent to make it funner. There are other people that try to do what Dan does. It's the same thing every night, and it gets boring. You guys you got to give money monthly. Guys, you know what you do here? If you want to be a member, you pay $5. And what does Dan do? He gives you $10 worth of yogurt. No other company does that. You know, that's what makes the difference. All we want you guys to do is have fun, come up with great questions, and tell a friend, guys, you guys got to get on this podcast. It's growing. Be part of it. You know, in a couple of months, once baseball starts, Dan's going to have clothing, and again, it's just something different. And Dan does this because he loves sports. All these other guys, they didn't play sports. They think they know sports, but it's no good when your chat knows more than you. So, you got to give Dan a lot of credit. And I'll just leave it at that, Dan.
Yeah. Thank you, Lou. Appreciate that.
No problem.
And we got a comment here from Cole Dunstan. He says, hey, Dan, can you please try and get Kerry Crowley on the show? He's so good. Enjoy hearing him. Yeah, Kerry's actually been on NorCal Sports Network. We had Kerry on over a year ago, I would say. Yeah, so check it out. Go back and look at the old lives way back when. I would say it's a little over a year ago, but I will get Kerry back on. Yeah, Kerry's a good guy. I like Kerry. You know what? We'll have some things going. There'll be some surprises coming along here in the coming weeks and months. We may have some old friends join us here on the show.
Ooh, that's a nice tease.
Yeah. We may have some old friends be joining NorCal Sports Network. Okay. So a lot of things in the works.
Exciting.
Yeah.
2025. Can't wait.
Yeah. This is going to be a really good hangout, guys. We wish we could get to the chat more. We're going to do a meet and greet too. We'll do a meet and greet, where we figure out a place. Maybe we'll meet at the Yogurt Shack next spring, when it starts to warm up, and I think what would be a really good meet and greet, Lou, is if we go to the Yogurt Shack in Lafayette. It's only 30 minutes from Candlestick. My roots. Oracle. I'm still saying Candlestick, Lou.
Of course.
30 minutes from Oracle. Maybe what we do is one night we meet at Yogurt Shack at maybe there's a Saturday night game coming up. Is there any Saturday night games early in the season? Do you know the schedule?
Let's take a look. And guys, we're trying to work out. I have a few connections with the Giants where we're thinking about, maybe getting a suite or getting a bunch of seats together where we all hang out for dinner one night, get to know each other, and then we go to a Giants game the next night. Because, Dan again is making a sacrifice because you got to remember, he doesn't live in the Bay Area anymore. So, give us time, probably in the middle of January, February. We'll set something up. It's got to work with the Giants schedule. It's got to work with Dan. And then, we'll have a meet and greet, dinner. We all can meet personally, talk, baseball, do whatever. And then the next day we'll go to a Giants game. Not a problem.
Or maybe do it all in the same day. We'll have a lunch instead of a dinner, and then we'll head over to the ballpark. I think a Saturday might work better than anything. I'm trying to find the actual. I looked at the schedule, but it didn't give me the time. Oh, here we go. Now we got to. Let's see. Saturday to be determined.
Yeah.
We need
Last year they had games at 4:30 and then 6:30 at night on Saturdays.
Right. They got a game on May 17th against the A's, but it says time to be determined. That's crazy. How come they don't have the schedule set up?
Because they haven't figured it out. Usually we'll know by, I think.
All their Saturday home games right now are showing to be determined, except the Dodgers, June 14th. Now, that would be tough to get tickets, but that would be nice. But
everything else we can do. I can get people in the Gotham Club. We're working on that. In fact, I could probably get, depending on the size, probably up to 12 people we can go on the field for batting practice. You know, that's what's fun. As Stuart knows, you know, we can go on the field for batting practice before, and then maybe we can all just, depending on the group size, we'll just go to the bleachers, hang out there, eat, drink, and have fun. You know, it's got to work with Dan. So it's up to Dan. And of course, he's got to talk to the boss of the family, who then has to talk to Buster. Then Buster has to get back to the boss and then comes back to Dan. So there's a lot of people, you know, you got to balance.
Yeah. Yeah. So guys, what yeah. Oh, we got tickets for, the evening game. Yeah, we do have tickets. Who was our winner? Fuji Simeon. Fuji Man. Yeah, he's not in here tonight. I don't see Fuji in here tonight. Is he in here?
I did not see him either.
Lou, since you are buying, can you fly me in from Evansville? Evansville. All right. We got another Evansville, Indiana. Isn't that where Don's from? Wait. Truth hurts. Don, where are you from? I know it's in Indiana. Maybe, wow. Cool. Yeah, lock your car. You know what we ought to do is take public transportation in. Or park in the Red Java lot. You're safe there.
Yep. And then walk to the game.
Yeah, I park at Red Java, walk. It's about a 15-minute walk. Hopefully by next year, my hip will be better. Let me see how we're doing on the likes. I can't see them on here. We're at 89 likes, guys, 11 away. I think we're going to get there. We just need 11 of you over there on Twitter. Yeah. True. Hey, look, Don's from Evansville. We have 2 people from Evansville. Do they know each other?
Crazy.
Wait a minute. Do we have a connection going on in Evansville? Drew, do you know Don? I wonder if they're friends. Maybe that's kind of crazy that we have 2 people.
I agree.
From Evansville, Indiana. That's crazy. Let's see if they know each other. What's this? Bobby YouTube user Bobby Evansville. Wait, Dan, what city do you live in? Meaning how close to Oracle? Cole, I live in Arizona. I grew up in Concord. I grew up in the East Bay back when Concord was actually a lot nicer city than it is now. Gosh, when did I leave? I left, I went to college I graduated high school in 1980. 1 year community college football at Los Medanos College in Pittsburgh, and then left in 82. Left in 82 to go to college in San Diego, and never moved back to the Bay Area except to get my stuff.
Smart move.
And I have been gone, but I did live in the Bay Area briefly in 2017. But yes, maybe Evansville can be the version of Youngstown, Ohio. Guys, the Juan Soto sweepstakes are heating up. If you listen to NorCal Sports Network, a lot of people in baseball told you that they didn't think he would sign until probably after Christmas or the new year, and that Boris made the comment he would take it through spring training if he had to. I said, don't buy into that. He's going to sign. My prediction was he was going to sign at the winter meetings. You know, day 1 of the winter meetings, day 2, he was going to kick off the winter meetings. There is some talk now that Juan Soto is narrowing things down this week, and we may have a decision at any time, and that it could happen before the winter meetings. So I think I was pretty on it if it does happen. Guys, I'm seeing a lot of things happen. NorCal Sports Network put out a video yesterday. It didn't get a lot of traction on it, but we ended up pulling it down because it wasn't getting as much traction. It's in our members only video for our members only. Brock Purdy. I said, no way Niners should pay $60 million to Brock Purdy. What am I seeing today? Everybody talking about Brock Purdy. Niners shouldn't pay Brock Purdy $60 million. What did I say a month ago? Over a month ago, we put a video out that said, trade Kyle Shanahan. Trade
People
Kyle
laughed
Shanahan.
at you.
And then I got laughed at on the Krug show on the post game after the Green Bay Packers game. And I said, and they said, what do you want to fire Kyle Shanahan? I said, no, he's too valuable. Don't fire somebody that's worth assets.
Yeah.
Trade him for a couple number ones. What happens today on the Rich Eisen show?
Yep.
Mike Florio, or yesterday, I guess it was, puts out a video or puts out a thought that the Niners should trade Kyle Shanahan to the Chicago Bears. And then Larry starts talking, well, I don't think that's going to happen. But if it was going to happen, I would take I'd want 3 picks. Does anybody credit us? No.
Nope.
Guys, look, I've been around sports for a long time. Just because I didn't have media credentials does not mean I don't know sports better than most of these guys that have been around sports. You know, just because guys got radio breaks, ESPN, all that, you know, and there's guys in this chat just like me that you guys know as much about sports as any of these guys out there. Lou, I mean, the guy's our host, Los, Boros, Ryan on Warriors basketball. Just because, you know, you don't have to have a media platform to be an expert, okay?
I mean, Rich Eisen's huge. When I saw that, I was like shocked. I go,
we did a stinking video on this over a month ago. It's out there right now. If you go out there on NorCal Sports Network in videos, we talked about it. It's kind of frustrating because I also brought up trading web, and now I hear people talking about trading web all over the internet or YouTube, I should say, and on X. It's like, Mark Graves. I forgot to leave Mark Graves. He knows a lot about sports. There we go. Mark has never been, he's been a guest in here. He's been in the studio while we've been live. Yeah. A lot of this stuff you see in this studio is compliments of Mark Graves. So some of that Giants poster right there, you see that World Champions? That was from Mark Graves. Those hats behind me, I bought the hats, but Mark hung them for me. What else we got? We've got some. That's from Mark Graves.
I like it.
We got one that's a Warriors one from Mark Graves. Yeah. We got a lot of things. There's some magazines in here from the Giants. You think we should auction this off sometime? Or look at that, guys.
Did he sign it?
He did. Look.
Yeah, there is a signature there.
That is Mad Bum. When he signed with the Diamondbacks, I went and got this personalized license. See the December 20 on there?
Yeah.
This is a real license plate, guys. I took it off, and I was afraid it was going to get stolen if he was really good. So, and it might have, you know.
That's cool.
The fact that it was signed by Mad Bum, I did not want to have it fade in this Arizona sun, my car. So this is a cool.
That's a great giveaway. Mad Bum is a legend.
There's the registration on the back.
See,
had my name where I used to live but I don't live there anymore. It's expired though. That was my 2019 Honda pickup truck. What were those Honda? What do they call those?
Not Interceptors. That's motorcycles.
I forgot the name of their pickup now. It was a nice one.
Bub, we're working on a backdrop.
Yeah, we'll get something there.
I got a lot of stuff from work previously, Final Fours and stuff. It's just how to hang them, but we'll come up with something for you guys.
Yeah, the beginning of the year about Chapman. Yes, it was. I did not like the signing. Not that I don't like Matt Ridgeline. Thank you, Mark. It's a Ridgeline. Thank you. Forgot the name of it. NorCal Sports Network was against the signing of Matt Chapman, not because we don't think Matt Chapman's not a good ball player, but we don't think he was the right fit for the team unless you had a bunch of stars around him. Because Matt Chapman is a hell of a third baseman. He is a heck of a, he plays, he shows up. He's not a great contact hitter. And you can't have a guy like Matt Chapman in the middle of your batting order not making contact and stranding runners on base. And that was the prop constantly. So that's the issue. Look, guys, we don't want to, I know we don't really want to rip on the players because we probably have relationships with and do have relationships with some of these guys. But at the same time, we don't want to be a network where we just are so homerish that we never say anything that is critical of the team. If you're really a good member of the media and you have a balanced approach, you have to be honest. And Mark Graves just took my thought. It's the 6 years with a no trade. If the Giants had signed him to a 4-year deal at $25 million a year and had
no problem,
didn't put a no trade clause in there, I would be fine with the deal. But the number one reason I did not want Matt Chapman to sign with the team is because I didn't think they're ready to win. They don't have the stars around him to surround the lineup. And I wanted Casey Schmidt to play third base. I really think Casey would wow a lot of people. And you guys watch the Sharks, how exciting they are to see all the young guys playing together. Yep. How exciting would it have been to see Casey at third base? Maybe you have Fitzgerald at short, Casey or Tyler Fitzgerald, and then you got a young second baseman. You got Eldridge in there someday at first base, and then you got Matos and Luciano at DH, Matos in left, Lee in center, Ramos in right. You got Birdsong, and you got Landon Roop coming up, and maybe Mason Black puts it together. I don't know. Maybe Kristen Beck, maybe Kyle Harrison, But let these guys get hit. Let them figure it out. I can remember the Giants had a lot of young guys when Pete Falcone, John Monefusco, Ed Halicki. Ed Halicki. Yeah. They had a lot of young pitchers, and they let them work it out. Giants weren't that great in the 70s, but the Giants didn't have the money back in the 70s. Okay. Yeah. They were struggling. The Giants are loaded with cash now. So get a lot of these young guys going and then add some stars, like the Orioles. Imagine the Orioles being the San Francisco Giants. Flip the black and orange with the orange and black. And flip the two organizations. And if the Orioles were playing in San Francisco with their roster, you don't think that Corbin Burns would stay? And you don't think that the Orioles or the Giants with the Baltimore Orioles roster could go out and sign a Teoscar Hernandez or maybe even a Juan Soto? You probably could sign Juan Soto and he would put you over the top with the Orioles roster. The Giants have the money to do that. Now, stop putting the cart before the horse. You
Agreed.
can't go out and get Juan Soto right now. He will linger. Who's going to pitch to him? He might break Barry Bonds' all-time intentional walk record.
Well, that's what I think.
Look, you cannot do that if you're a Giants. You gotta do it right. You gotta build it. You build it,
They will come.
They will come. If you build it, they will come. That's right. The Giants have the ability. Guys, why horse for car? What do you guys think of Oakland A's? Any Oakland A's? They're part of NorCal. They're going to be in Sacramento. That's still NorCal. Guys,
they're exciting. They're young. They had a golden slugger. They got money to spend. Going to be in a new ballpark in 3 years. I'll make it 5. They're going to own Sacramento. They'll come up with something new beside the beam. I mean, it'll be fun to watch in that place. Place will be rocking.
Yes. How would you like some Oakland A's inside coverage? Well, stay tuned.
And then
George Curry says Giants could sign Soto, massively improve with him in the lineup. Other players would get better pitches to hit. This is true.
But you have no one to protect Soto. That's the thing.
I just don't know. I think you need another hitter or two. Look at Aaron. Think about what Aaron Judge did without Soto the year before last. I know he got hurt in the 23 season. He hurt his toe at Dodger Stadium, and he missed a couple months.
It went into the fence. It was sort of a weird injury.
Yeah. But the Yankees were terrible without Soto. I mean, and without Judge for a while. So you got to have some more horses. Soto has batters like Machado and Judge to protect him in the lineup. Who's going to protect him in San Francisco? Bailey? Yeah, Vespa 5, correct. I mean, yeah, you don't have anybody. Who? Wilmer Flores? I mean, I don't know. Maybe Flores has a little bit of a bounce back.
I don't even know why we're bringing him back.
Yeah,
it was a player option, so we had no choice. DFA him.
Hey, what do you guys think of this? What do you guys? I don't know how to do these polls. Ryan does them, but YouTube put a poll. What do you guys think of this golden bat rule that they're floating around? It's got to be the stupidest rule I've ever thought of. Did you hear? Well, I think it was Roger Clemens. He says, "Wait a minute. I get bases loaded and I got Ohtani up and I strike him out and then he gets to bat against me again."
Yeah.
Because he's the golden bat? Or how about this? How about this rule? Somebody brought this up in our video. Ohtani leads off the bottom of the ninth or something. It's tie score. Or he gets walk. He's on first, and they bring him back up again. What happens to the runner on first base, Ohtani? What, do you get to bring in a speedster now to pinch run for him, and he gets to bat again? Don't mess with the game and change it. It's ridiculous. I can't imagine this. What are they thinking? What are they thinking about
especially off such a great year last year?
Yeah. And Ghost Runner. If Ghost Runner's not good enough for the World Series, that should tell you it's a gimmick. it's a gimmick. Just, yes, Jake, stop messing with the game. The game's been a beautiful game. You know, I wasn't even a DH fan. I like the fact that the National League did not have the DH, but you kind of had to go to it because you can't keep having this interleague play and balanced schedule and not have.
I didn't like interleague, Dan. Did you?
Nope. I just like the National. I like the fact that the American League umps had an AL on their hats and the National League.
You knew the umpires, like you knew who Big Fat Joe West was. You knew the National League had their own umpires. American League had their own. We were very unique, and you had to earn to get to the World Series. You know, old school people don't realize. You know, back in the '60s, it was one division. You know, to go to the dance. The Giants, back in the '70s, we had to go against the Big Red Machine, the Dodgers, Houston Astros, and the San Diego Padres. And guess what? You had to win that division to go to the playoffs. There was no such thing as a wild card. I mean, it was all 162 games.
I like this rule. How about if there's a foul ball in the stands and a fan catches it? This is sarcasm, obviously, by Don. Yeah. Can a player tag up if at their discretion? Can you imagine?
What's that team? The Banana Slugs? That's what happens.
Is this what Manfred's trying to do? Is compete with the Banana Slugs, the Savannah Bananas? George Curry, exactly. Manfred is an idiot. May go down as the worst commissioner in the history of any sport. He has 2 major league franchises playing in minor league parks. He is a disgrace. Oh, that's right. Tampa Bay's got to play in the Yankees spring training park now.
Yeah. Now, that was not his fault. I will say that.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's mind-boggling. How are we doing on the likes, guys? We're at what the heck happened? Wait a minute. How did that happen? We were at 90.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Shows 59 now. It wasn't. I don't know what happened to them all. That's crazy. Maybe they're bots or something. Maybe bots.
Hey Dan, I have a question for you. You know, we keep talking about the trades. Now, one thing is, if we do say we get someone like Burns, and we get another pitcher like Buehler, you guys don't realize how great Webb would be as a number 3 pitcher. He would actually be the best number 3 pitcher in the league by far. But right now, with him the top, he's not the top ace. But I keep looking at all these rumors for Garrett Crochet, right? Because he has 4 years left, sort of the Webb contract.
Yep.
Right? He's not making much money. If the Giants can't get a heavy hitter, how about trade for someone like him with a couple of our young guys? Here's an established guy who is a great pitcher. He would go to a pitcher's ballpark. You know, I know it's easier said than done, but, you know, we keep talking about some of our minor leaguers or guys who are just there. You know, you get someone like a Garrett Crochet. You know, that could change the team too, where now you could just sign a guy like Walter Buehler. Now you have 3 aces. You know what I mean? Instead of spending $40 million on Burns or $35 million.
Right.
Because he's definitely going to be traded. It says the Yankees, Philadelphia, Cubs, and New York Mets are all interested in trading for him. But you haven't heard anything about the Giants. You know? So, I don't know.
Hey, speaking of the Giants, how about Roki Sasaki? If you guys watched us on Sunday night, we put out a video this afternoon. Go check out that video. It's only 5 minutes long. I can actually show it to you right there. There is the thumbnail right there, guys.
Ooh, a big net in there. Okay.
Giants need Sasaki. I can't get it to focus. Go check that video out. Give it a like and give it some comments. We'll be able to comment back to you on the video because He thinks that I watched that today, Dan. Agreed we need Sasaki. Thanks, Ben. Hopefully you gave it a like and comment on it. MF says Dan should get Ned on again. MF, Ned will be a regular guest on NorCal Sports going forward. Okay, every other Sunday night.
Every other Sunday, Dan.
Every other Sunday. We had him on this Sunday, so we'll have him on the 15th. And that may change some Sundays because of his travel schedule. We'll see how that goes. Okay, Ben. He says he gave it a like but didn't comment. No worries. Thanks for the like. Guys, go check out that video with Ned. He talks about how signing Sasaki would be a huge move for the Giants. Not to the extent like it was when they signed Bonds in the 92, 93,
The brand.
you know, the offseason. But think about it. He's a young player who you're not paying for his past performance that might go down. He's got the best days ahead of him. So what does
that almost
Ned,
makes too much sense.
yeah. What does Ned do? Cole asks. Now, Ned is a scout for the San Jose Sharks, and he's also a professor at Pepperdine University, teaches some courses there, and very busy guy. So Clayton, I keep moving these things and they move on me. Yeah, I don't think the Sasaki thing is going to happen, but it would be cool. Clayton, what about David VR and Brett Wisely? He could be a gap hitter, in my opinion. Dan, I don't know about David VR. I'm not crazy about VR. I was high on him, but he's got to learn to make more contact. Strikes out too much. Now, if he can hit you 25 plus homers and play a solid first base, you know, I'd be okay with that. In fact, David VR is a possibility of being that first baseman until you get Eldridge here. If VR can figure out how to hit home runs and keep his strikeout rate around 25%, he could be a productive player. But he hasn't been able to keep his strikeout rate down.
And Dan, can you bring up Lisa? I haven't seen too many women in the chat. I like it, but Lisa T's comment, she brings up a pretty good point. She said it
I still think the Giants need to find their identity first. Yes, you're correct, Lisa. They do. Their identity has to be. That's part of what this show is about. The beginning is to build it over again. Do something. You know what? Let me ask you guys this in the chat. I don't have a poll deal here, but just quickly respond. Would you be okay with the Giants if they lost 100 games 2-3 years in a row like Baltimore, but got these great draft picks and all of a sudden had, what's the catcher? Adley Rutschman, and then you had a Gunnar Henderson and a Jackson Holiday and a Kobe Mayo. Would you be okay with that if all of a sudden 2-3 years from now you started building and you lost close to 100 games, if not more, in 25, 6, and 7, and all of a sudden in 28 you're winning 100 games? Give me in the chat. Tell me yes, rebuild, or just put a R if you want to just be short. Put R for rebuild and NR, no rebuild. Let me see your comments, because I personally, if I knew the Giants were going to do that and they were upfront about it, I'm for that. I don't. Okay, we got 2 R's. Okay, count these, Lou, on me. We got an N. We got a Ben Bamboo. Wait, we got ML R R NR R. Jake, yes, rebuild. Clayton R. Vespa R. and Rocks rebuild.
All I've seen is ours.
You got to break it down to build it up. That's right, ML. Yeah. So most of the people, we NR forever, Dan. Jake says, okay, but what are you getting with NR? Where have you been since 2000? The last playoff appearance besides 21 was 2016. And imagine this, Lou. What happens if the Giants decided to rebuild after the 17 season was a 98 loss team? The you know what? Let me pull the San Francisco
17
Giants.
and 18 were disaster.
Yeah, and 19 was like near 500. Let me pull up their SF Giants year by year record.
I'd love for them to reboot, because you know what, Dan? We're not going to be able to win it. So let's reboot it so we'll be ready to win it. And then when a big free agent like De La Cruz becomes available, let's go all in for him. Sort of like what the Dodgers do. They think down the line. We don't think like that.
They still are the all-time winningest franchise in all of baseball, dating back to New York, 11,541 wins. But let's take a look at their overall record since 2000.
And remember one thing about 2016? They had the best record in baseball
at the first half. So since 2016, they were at like 26 games below 500 to end the season. Then we unfortunately lost to the Cubs. Okay, look at this. Winning season, 87. Losing 17, 18. The rebuild needed to start after the 18 season. You tried to make it a competitive team in 17 and 18. You failed. 19, Farhan comes in. Bochy's last year. This was the time to rebuild. You got lucky in 21. And then look, they're just mediocre. And Ned Colletti confirmed on this show that mid is the worst place to be in sports, because you're not good and you're not terrible, so you don't get any benefits of, if you're lousy, at least you get some draft picks. You get to draft high picks, and you get the Adley Rutschmans, you get the Gunnar Hendersons, you get the Jackson Holidays, you get the Jose Altuves, you get the Carlos Correas, you get the George Springers, okay? You get the Buster Posey when the Giants drafted 5th. But when you're 15th to 18th, or even 13 to 18 range, you're going nowhere in baseball. Because baseball is not like the NFL, where you get really good players the first 2 or 3 rounds, right? I mean, there's so many good players coming out of college football that you get.
And Dan, if they would
go ahead. I'm just saying, you get a lot of good players.
I was going to say, if they would have rebuilt in 2018, then you would have got someone like Judge, because by that time we would have had a superior team with homegrown guys in the majors. We'd be more competitive instead of 80 wins and rooting for trying to give you the third wild card. We could have had the advantage of, we have the youth through there, where we'd be battling with 90 wins, trying to get that one extra player for another championship.
Right. And when it comes to the draft, you have to look at how the draft played out.
Yeah.
Because the Giants, in some ways, they really kind of messed up their the draft when they had the chance at the second pick overall. They drafted Joey Bart, and they didn't even really, Bart could have been, he wasn't going to be this, he's probably never going to be the star player, but they didn't even give him a chance. Unfortunately, that was not a great draft. Baum went 3rd to the Phillies. Nick Madrigal, he's actually a free agent right now. He was let go So you look at the first 4 picks in this draft. Casey Mize is with Detroit. He's done nothing. Joey Bart's now with the Pirates. He hasn't done much. Alec Baum, had a good year last year. Nick Madrigal has been released. He's a free agent. Jonathan India just got traded. He hasn't done much. Jared Kalenic hasn't done much. He was with Atlanta last year. Ryan Weathers, not much. Carter Stewart, I don't know. Who's Carter Stewart? Is that the guy over at Carter's Corner? I never heard of Carter Stewart. Kyler Murray's with the Arizona Cardinals.
Yep.
Travis Swaggerty, not much swag there. Hasn't panned out.
No.
Grayson Rodriguez, pitcher for the Orioles. He's starting to come up now. Jordan Groshans. You heard of Jordan Groshans?
No, I've never heard of him.
Connor Scott. Logan Gilbert. There's a good pick for Seattle. Matthew Liberatore. He went to high school just down the street from here where I'm at. He hasn't done a whole lot. Jordan Adams, come on. Brady Singer, he was just traded for Jonathan India. Nolan Gorman, he's okay with the Cardinals. But no, look at this. Bryce Terang's turned out well with the Brewers. Ryan Rollison, nah.
One of those years.
Anthony Sigler. Nico Horner, he's probably the best pick in the draft so far, 24th. Matt McClain, he's done okay for he's with Cincinnati now, I believe. I think. Maybe I got the wrong guy. Mason Denneberg. JT Ginn. Look, not everybody hits in baseball. It's really hard. I don't know. Where do these guys? The Orioles. Who's drafting those guys? Mike Elias. How about if you went out and grabbed that guy instead of you can't go get Juan Soto, but you can pay a guy like Mike Elias. Say, hey, look, what are you making over there in Baltimore? 500 grand.
Moneyball. I saw it on Moneyball.
500 grand you're making? Okay, we'll pay you 1.5. That way you can cover the taxes and you'll double your money.
Yep.
And you come fix this ball club. Look, he fixed he really helped the Astros, and look what he's done with the Orioles. And then
you got to think outside the box. You got to adapt.
Right. Then you got to get the right guys in the minor league development. Hopefully Randy wins the right guy. Yeah, Aaron, you're right. 2016. Why is this not coming up? There we go. Nope. There we go. 2016 and 21 really set this team back. It did. It gave them false hope. They started to crumble in the second half of 2016, and they never recovered. And it really, they barely made the playoffs. They won 87 games that year. I think they were 56 and 35, 57 and 35 at the All-Star break. At the All-Star break. Yeah, it just went.
And they were basically one inning away of forcing Game 5 back at Chicago.
Yeah, with Johnny Cueto would have been on the mound.
Yeah. I was there.
Lisa says, what is the Giants front office strategist? We have no idea, really. George Curry, Matt Blood is who you want from the Orioles, not Elias. He is the director of amateur scouting. There you go. That's what I was. But yeah, Elias was the guy that probably got him in there. It's the thing he identified, all the kids. Okay. How about go triple, quadruple Matt Blood's salary? You know what? Let's go draw some blood, right?
I'd rather repay him than Yaz.
Yeah. Yeah, think about that. Talk about creativity. You're going to give $9 million to a guy that's going to do nothing for your organization. How would that be? Look, this guy's probably making Matt Blood, probably making
350,000.
something like that. Go pay this guy $3 million and change his life.
Yeah.
And stop wasting money on players that, the thing about that, Lou, is what Yaz does for you. And you gave him $9+ million.
And the other thing is we paid $10 million for maybe a fourth or maybe a fifth outfielder.
Yeah. But according to Alex Pavlovic, he thinks that Giants have their starting lineup with Ramos, Lee, and Yaz.
First of all, we don't even know if Lee's going to be back in April.
I'm hearing he is. I'm hearing he is. Yes,
yeah, the analytics has got to go because
that was Farhan. That was Farhan. Buster Posey, get creative. Go get one of these guys blood. There's no salary cap on what you pay other people in their front office, especially if they're not, I guess you have to give them a promotion, but give them the promotion. Give them multiple job titles. Yes, George, he's not terrible, but it is irresponsible. It really is. Because you can go find a guy like Yaz. How many games did Mike Yastrzemski play last year, you think? Do you think he even played 125 games?
No, but I know he was at one time almost the whole season. He struck out 1/3 of the time. You remember how close he was? We were talking about that.
Yeah. Let's see how many games he played last year. He played in...
And he's been with us like 7 years. Enough was enough.
He actually played in 140 games last year. He actually stayed healthy enough to play. The year before, though,
he hurt his groin, I think, 3 times.
106. He had that hamstring.
The hamstring, yeah.
Yeah. Shota. Don't understand how the Giants, as a revenue-sharing payer, able to draft well by tanking due to a draft lottery and unable to get top 6. Don't understand how the Giants, as a revenue-sharing payer, able to draft well by tanking due to draft lottery. When did the Giants tank? The Giants didn't have any tank years. They were near 500. That was the problem. There was too many teams. The way the draft lottery works, Lou, it's similar to the NBA in the sense that the teams that don't make the playoffs go into the draft lottery, and the teams with the worst 6 teams in baseball, I think you're guaranteed. I'm not sure exactly how it works. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you're guaranteed no less than 7th
or 8th. I thought it was 8th.
Maybe it's something like that.
Yeah.
7th or 8th if you're in the top 6. But it's weighted, so the team with the worst record
moves up.
Well, the team with the worst record has the most whatever they balls that they put in whatever, the biggest percentage, the best percentage, and then second worst record has the second best percentage chance. So it is, if you are crappy, you're probably gonna land in the top 5 if you're one of the worst teams in baseball. We'll see. But I think the Giants got to get away from the mid thing. Now, what would you guys think if the Giants were able to sign? Do you think it's a competitive team if they actually got Burns and another starting pitcher like an Evaldi or a Walker Buehler, who does not, those guys don't have a qualifying offer? Burns does. But if you got two of those players and you did keep Webb, two of the pitchers, and let's say you even got Sasaki, and you went out and got a Hassan Kim or something, would that be a competitive team?
Still got a problem with the bat.
Because I don't think just getting Burns does anything for the Giants, because all he's doing is replacing Blake Snell. Say you get Blake Snell performance out of Burns the whole year that you got out of Blake Snell the second
You got the
half.
same problems without Conforto, who was hot at times, Soler, who was hot at times. You got the same lousy lineup.
Yeah. I don't think Burns – I mean, Blake Snell doesn't pitch as many innings as Burns. But you still, like Clayton says, you still have the problem with the bats. That's why I think they're going to go after this Korean kid. I really do. You watch. Haesung Kim, not Hassan Kim. But they might have Hassan and Haesung. You might have Kim to Kim. You might have Kim, and Kim. No, Kim, it's Lee. Kim.
Sort of like the Oklahoma Thunder that have the exact two guys with the exact same names and the exact same age.
Yeah, one guy's from Santa Clara and the other one's from
Jay Williams. Jay Williams.
Jason, yeah. One's Alabama, one's Santa Clara, and one's
it Alabama?
I think it was SEC. Was it Tennessee?
And they do J.A.
Auburn
Williams, where the other one's just J.A.Y. Williams, because they have and they look the same sort of. Both good guys.
Yeah, George Foreman. Let me show you an old picture. I got something here.
The great George Foreman. And his 7 kids, all George, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th.
This is back when I had hair, Lou, but somebody put George Foreman. I'm in the blue shirt with the tie. There's Dan Cochimilio, and my brothers Dan and Dan. That's Dan in the blue. That's me, and then my brother in the white shirt. That's Dan, and then my other brother Dan. We took after George Foreman's family.
Your brother Daryl and your other brother Daryl?
No, we're all named Dan, just like George named all
his.
George named his kids all George.
Yep.
No, my other brothers are not. We don't carry the same name. We come from a dysfunctional family, but we're not that dysfunctional. As every family in America is dysfunctional, right, Lou?
Trust me, I know.
Yeah, that's my grandmother. That picture has got to be. I bet you that's close to 40 years ago. Look at that mustache.
40
with
years
hair,
ago.
Lou. Look at that with hair.
Right, let me see if I can just surprise you for a second. Here.
Yeah, that is late 80s. That was probably mid 80s. That was 85, 86, somewhere around there. The hair was going. Jeez. Definitely late 80s, yeah. Hey, guys, if you are on Twitter or X, give me a follow over there at NorCal Sports NW. Everybody on Twitter. I know we got a lot of people watching on Twitter right now. We have 145 watching total. I don't know. Let me see how many we have on YouTube. I'll tell you. It's crazy how that works. We've got 75 watching on YouTube and another 60. Well, we're at 145. So I guess that would make us, we got 70 watching on 75 here and 70 on X. So if everybody on YouTube, if you do have X, give me a follow on Twitter, NorCal Sports NW. No room. Oh, look at this. What do we got here? Your dad?
Nope. Can you see that? Hum Baby.
Oh, that's Roger Craig.
Yeah.
And that's a young Lou Marston.
Yeah. 40 years ago. There you go. It's better.
Wow, look at that. Hum Baby. Look at Lou
Hum
Marston.
Baby himself.
You were a season ticket holder there, right?
Yeah.
What are you, about 20 years old there?
I don't know. I look pretty young.
18?
So
18?
I'd probably say, boy, Hum Baby back in 87. I probably just got out of high school. So maybe
18?
18 or 20. I was at U of A. And there was a fundraiser for Hum Baby himself. And I had to go. And through
That's
my,
awesome.
So Hum Baby, that was one of my prides.
There we go.
It's sort of funny growing up. You have players, but Hum Baby was just different than everybody else.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
I wanted to just show it.
Yeah.
A little different. Been a
That's
fan for
nice.
a long time, but Hum Baby was the man for me.
It's awesome. My thoughts on Jung-Hoo Lee for 25. Will he make a difference? Well, I think he'll be about a 280 to 290 hitter.
We hope.
And I don't think he'll hit about 9 to 12 home runs in that range. Hopefully he steals some bases this year. He better steal more than single digits in the double, Will he make a difference? I think he'll help. But the problem is the Giants got to have guys below him in the order that can hit the ball. Got to stop striking out.
One thing about Lee, sorry, Dan, what I was going to say about Lee is really, we haven't had a leadoff hitter really since like Brett Butler, someone that can get it going, and that's where we really need him to be. A slapper, get on, stolen bases, start innings, being, a person that can get the mojo going.
Yes. George says the Giants should sign Burns and Bueller. Giants should go 6-man rotation. Having Burns, Webb, Bueller, Ray, Birdsong, and Harrison would be very strong rotation. Still have Roop, Hicks, Beck, Black. I do like the idea of signing 2 pitchers minimum, George. And I've said that. I personally would like to see them sign 3 pitchers. And if you're going to keep Webb and you want to go, I would like to see him go with Burns, Bueller, and like an Evaldi. I don't think they want to sign Burns and Fried and give up multiple draft picks and international money. So if they don't get Burns, they should try to get Fried to replace Snell. But Burns, Bueller, Evaldi. How's this? Burns, Bueller, Evaldi, Webb, Ray,
Sasaki.
Give me Sasaki too, and then you don't need an Evaldi. But if the Giants were able to get Burns and Bueller and a Sasaki, 3 players, wow. Then you go with Webb. Webb could be your number 3.
Be the best number 3 in baseball.
And if you had, Robbie Ray or Birdsong 4, 5, and Harrison 6, I do not want Jordan Hicks to see. I do not ever want to see Jordan Hicks starting the game at Oracle Park at the top of the first, unless it is one of those ridiculous bullpen games that is a freakish thing. If you got a 6-man rotation and you've got a couple guys in the background like a Roop or a Beck or a Black, let them start. Keep Jordan Hicks in the bullpen, please. Dallas Helliker says they aren't signing 3 pitchers. What universe is this? It's called a universe of Dallas. It's called a universe of smart thinking. But if you're saying it's ridiculous to sign 3 starting pitchers, that's one thing versus saying is who, if it's the Giants that are going to do it. Let me tell you a team that actually did something like this. Hold on.
Are they in the American League? Do they initials KC mean anything?
They are. They are. Did they not sign Seth Lugo, Michael Wacha, and somebody else last year? Didn't they sign 3 starting pitchers?
And by the way, what did they do? Didn't they make the playoffs this year?
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
Oh, and they signed Seth Lugo, Chris Stratton, and
That's right.
Michael Wacha. Now, Stratton was more of a bullpen guy, but look, you got to go get pitching.
And the Giants did last year get 3. We
Yeah,
got Ray from a trade, Jordan Hicks, and we got Snell. So why wouldn't getting 3 this year would be the same thing?
What'd they do last year? Snell, who?
Jordan Hicks
And Ray, kind of.
and they traded for Ray.
Yeah. Look, pitching's where the Giants need to go. Evaldi's an injury waiting to happen. Hard pass, says George Curry. I could see that. Look, there's other pitchers available, guys. There's other pitchers that are available. Michael King.
I have one little question for you.
We mentioned this, Bub, at the beginning.
Yeah, we keep talking about this. Do you think once the Soto announcement happens, is it going to be like a free-for-all with all other players? Doesn't matter what position?
I don't know if it'll be
holding up all the free agencies.
I don't think it's holding all of them. It is holding up Teoscar Hernandez and getting tired. Baltimore guy, Santander. I think, my throat's starting to get sore talking.
No carrot juice today.
Yeah, I didn't get my carrot juice today.
Yeah.
Dallas says that would mean they're giving up on Harrison and Birdsong. They don't want to do that because they are serviceable and cheap. You don't have to give up on Harrison and Birdsong. You could move off of Robbie Ray, trade him. He's got 2 years at $25 million. You also, the ideal would be to go Burns, Bueller, and Sasaki. If you could do that, you can, and then my thing is Burns, Bueller, Sasaki, and trade. I still think if you did that, you could trade Webb and actually get some young talent that could, go get yourself a shortstop that is coming up and is ready to play. How about Jordan Lawler of Arizona? You think Arizona wouldn't mind having Logan Webb? Boston's got the kid Marcelo Mayer. Heck, Jackson Holiday. I think you could go get Jackson Holiday if you traded Webb and somebody else. How about if you went Webb and if this is contingent on signing Burns and say a Bueller or a Burns and a Flaherty. How about if you went and got Burns and Flaherty? Jack Flaherty doesn't have a qualifying offer. What happens if you went and got Sasaki, Flaherty, and didn't get Burns? What happens if you got Sasaki, Flaherty, and Bueller? We had 3 pitchers. Somebody says Flaherty's Jeremy Lopez. Flaherty's trash, Dan. I don't know. His numbers are pretty darn close to Logan Webb. I put him up a week ago and put the side by side. They're very similar career numbers. Yeah, if you went
The Padres got Michael King from the Yankees for nothing. Nothing. And he was their best pitcher at one time. I mean,
wasn't he in the Juan Soto? He was in the Juan Soto deal.
Yeah.
That wouldn't say nothing. You got.
Yeah, but he wasn't the key piece, is what I meant. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He was thrown in
Yeah.
But Michael King's a free agent after this year, and so is Dylan Cease. Padres are in trouble. You know, what happens if you did Logan Webb and Camilo Duvall or Jackson Holiday? You think Baltimore says no to that? They got the shortstop Gunnar Henderson right now.
Yeah.
They got Kobe Mayo, who could play third or first, but they got so many guys. Why wouldn't they want pitching?
That'll put him over the top.
I would love to build around Jackson Holiday. He could be a really centerpiece. You need a young guy that can. I mean, he was the number 1 draft pick, right? You need one of these young guys. Yeah, you need one of these guys that can actually become a star. That trade does work, by the way, with the trade machine, value-wise. Don says King was the big fish the Padres wanted in that deal.
All right, because I knew he had a lot of hype with the Yankees, but he just wasn't panning out. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I just know what the Yankees said.
See, that's what the Giants need, is have Holiday and Eldridge.
And then you put Chapman in between them. Then Chapman's now a better player.
Right. Look, I'll show you this deal. And then we'll get out of here. I'm tired. MLB trade machine. You guys we'll pull up the machine here and you can
the machine.
The plane.
Pujols.
The plane. Let's do the trade machine together here. We'll plug in the values. Here we go. Trade simulator. 2-team trade. Select. You guys see this?
Yep.
Is it showing up? Giants. Baltimore Orioles. We'll go to the Giants first. We'll go to the top surplus guy. It is Logan Webb. Oh, his value went up again. 71.1. It was down to 64. All right, Bailey. I can't believe Bailey's the second most valued player on the Giants. Then Eldridge. Okay, so we're trading Logan Webb to the Orioles along with Camilo Duvall. And we're getting back you guys can see this, right? Look at Gunnar Henderson's value compared to Logan Webb's. 143 versus 71. Twice the value. Twice. Everyday player, Adley Rutschman, higher than Webb. There's Jackson Holiday, 58.5. He's 20 years old, everybody. He is, and they got Jordan Westberg at second. So you could do just that alone. Look at the value works. That's an overpay by the Giants, according to the trade machine. Look, if I hit validate, it's going to say too much value in there. Moderate overpay. Although one side of this trade is giving up more than they should, there is still a reasonable probability it would be accepted if each team's needs are met. You can't tell me the Giants, you're not getting Gunnar Henderson. I'm sorry. Gunnar Henderson's, I would love that. I don't see the Orioles doing that. He's too established. Wasn't he second in the MVP running last year, Gunnar Henderson, for the American League, behind Judge?
Second or third, I believe.
Yeah, I think third was Bobby Witt Jr., if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Or one of them was, flip the two. I don't know which one. Ben Bamboo, my rule is 2 prospects for 1 proven ML player. George Curry, Holiday looked overmatched last year, and so did Mayo. You are trading for potential. Baltimore's Elias said he was not trading any more youngsters, especially after he gave up too much for Rodgers. Well,
first time in the playoffs, deer in the headlights, it happens.
What's he going to give up?
You guys forgot, Duvall was one of the worst relief pitchers the last 3 months of the season. Maybe 4. The worst in baseball. His ERA was like 8.5. He had a mental problem. He was pathetic. Because of him, I got kicked out of a Giants game. I'm just hoping Duvall can be half the pitcher he comes back. If we can get a chance and trade him, we got to do it.
Yeah. What do you guys? Let me think here. You want to do another? Give me a trade. Somebody give me a trade. Some people don't like these trades. Give me your trade.
What about with Toronto? If do you think? Say the Blue Jays. My prediction: they get Soto.
No, they're not getting Soto.
Their 2 other studs, or is maybe one possibly? Could they trade Guerrero?
Soto ain't signing with Toronto because there's no certainty of what's happening with Vladdy. If that situation were resolved, then you might have a chance. But Soto's not going to go there, and then Vladdy leaves, and then what are they rebuilding?
He'd be king of the whole entire country.
I don't think he cares about being a king. I think he wants to get paid and win.
They'll pay him. They got the money.
They won't win. They won't win. I want at least 2 top 30 prospects for Webb and Duvall, plus another in the top 50. All right, let's do a trade with Boston. All right, you want to trade with Boston? I got you a deal. Let me show you this deal in Boston. We're going to start over. We'll change this to the Red Sox. Boston has some young studs. Boston doesn't really have a great closer either. All right. How about
they just signed Chapman?
Yeah. Giants, I would love Jaron Duran, but how about Marcelo Mayer? And we need another youngster. How about who's my other guys that are coming up in Yeah, Boston, Giants don't have enough to deal with Boston. Boston's got too much value. They don't really have enough there. Not a good fit. Truth Hurts says Don says he thinks Soto's going to Boston. I think it's down to 4 teams. It's down to the 2 New York teams and Boston and the Dodgers. What did I tell you guys? Most people didn't believe me when I said this. I think this is going to go north of 700. I said it from the beginning. I think what happens this week is there's offers in the mid sixes right now.
Yep.
And somebody's going to go 700 and they're going to go back. If it's the Red Sox that go over 700, Boris is going to go back to the Yankees, say, if you match this or beat this, you got a deal. And he's going to end up with the Yankees.
Back to the Yankees? I think it's Boston or Toronto. I don't think either New York team is going to get him.
I don't think that – I think the Mets could still get him. No one's saying – we're not hearing anything from the Mets. Bub Rad, you're right. Okay, Clayton, we'll see you. Have a good night. Do well in school, man. Bub Rad, Dodgers might pull a sneaky one with even more deferred money. They understand this is their chance to abuse this. Exactly, guys. This is what I have been telling you from day one with Soto. Look out for the Dodgers. Would not shock me. Here's the deal. How's this numbers? Let me put these numbers in front of you, Lou. 70. See if I can do this. Let me try it this way.
God, they crushed them tonight, Minnesota. Hey, Lisa, I see you think we have a great ownership group. I don't know about that. Good for real estate, not running a baseball team.
Yeah. Opt out. I'm doing this here. I'm trying to put this out together. Opt out, and then we got 30. Let's see.
Oh, going broke, Lisa, I completely agree. And welcome to the chat. It's good to see you. Doesn't matter. They're the champions till we knock them off.
Okay. How's this? Let me see. Putting this together. Oops. With 37 times 11. Hold on here. This 37 times 11 is 407. How's this for a deal for the Dodgers? Juan Soto. What do you guys think of this? 75 million years 1 through 4. So he gets 300 million in the first 4 years, and then he can opt out. And then he's got years 5 through 15, 37 million, which equals 407. So he gets 707. Boris gets the top Ohtani, but it's not the all-time richest contract when it comes to per year, because Ohtani is 4 years older than Soto. So you're and then you defer 207 million of it. So he gets 707 million, but he gets 300 up front. And then from years 11 or 5 through 15, he's getting 200 divided by 11. He's getting 18 million a year. So it encourages him to opt out if he has really great years. If he has the great years, he opts out. If he doesn't, the Dodgers don't owe him a ton of money, because what they'll do, now take this out, they'll owe him 207 million, right? Over 11 years.
Yeah.
Well, what they will do is put 200 million into an investment that will grow in that 11-year period to like 450 million. So then what will happen is they will have paid him, hear me out here. They made 250 million on the investment, right, Lou?
Yep.
So they now have 450 million in which they owe him 207. So they made $243 million profit on that. And they have only paid him out the 300 million.
300, yeah.
See how you do this, guys? This is why the Dodgers are light years ahead of everybody else. And baseball allows it. Yeah, George, they'd be in the tax, but they don't care. They're making money. They got so much money with their TV contract, George, and they're making money off Ohtani with all the sponsorships. I mean, in LA, there'd be the Soto Shuffle would be a dance or some, would be some kind of, who would want to sponsor the Soto Shuffle? You know, every time he does the Soto Shuffle at the batter's box, there's some kind of, you know, mention of this company.
Dan, my client, I have a big client down in LA. They sponsor the Dodgers. For their investment for the year, they made 750%. And it's all because of Ohtani. Not only are they so big now, they're also part of the group that when people come from Japan, they stay at their casino and they go sit in the seats that are also sponsored by them. I mean, Ohtani's a machine, guys. You don't realize, because of that one signing, they're redoing the stadium. They have a TV contract where every single Dodger game is on live in Tokyo. He's the biggest superstar. They make so much from merch, it's amazing. So
yes, Jake, we're ready to roll. If Soto signs, we'll be right on, unless I'm in some appointment. Like last year when Ohtani signed, I was driving down the I was driving the 10, which freeway was I on? I was going down to Tucson for a meeting, Lou.
Bear down.
What freeway is that goes?
10.
It's the 10. Yeah. It was the 10. Yeah. I was heading to Tucson. And if San Francisco trades for Jordan Whisper, Orioles for like Harrison and Matos, yeah. I think that's too much to give up Matos, Luciano, and Harrison for Jordan Westberg. Look, I'm not so sure Casey Schmidt isn't better than Jordan Westberg. Just give him a shot. I know Casey Schmidt's a better infielder. The production-wise, hitting-wise, look, I don't think you guys realize how good of an infielder Casey Schmidt really is. He really is good.
Got a rocket arm.
Yeah, we'll see. The Dodgers something tells me the Dodgers still may come up with this, guys. They want to win. They want to win, and they want to win right now in their window, and they will.
And if
will
they
try
don't
to
get him, look who they do get. It might be worse. Instead of not getting Soto, they might be getting a superstar and shortstop, another outfielder. I mean, it could
they might get
add up.
Adames. They might get Adames and Hernandez. Yeah,
That's their B plan. We're just trying to actually get a game plan. The Giants.
You got to realize
teams have B and C plans.
George, the deferrals add up, but they're making money because they have so much money to invest. The Dodgers can put the 200, 300 million up to cover. Look, what they're going to do with Shohei is put up a $350 million deal. They already did. And they're going to double that. And then that doubles and they have 700 million to pay out Ohtani, because they will pay him over a course of 10 years with payments. And so that'll just spit out the annual payments, that annuity. That's just that's what all insurance companies do. The Dodgers are owned by an insurance company, you guys, Guggenheim. Okay. I do a lot of work with Guggenheim.
The other thing is they keep talking about so much money. Imagine them getting Soto, winning 3 more championships. It all pays for itself. And then when some of these guys that are getting old are going to retire, they still have Soto for another 4 years before they have to get another superstar. You know, it's a machine. It's amazing what they do.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's take a look at this. I'm looking to read this. Hold on. Yeah, you guys want to know why the Dodgers can do what they're doing? Let me show you some stuff. Okay, Guggenheim. Guggenheim is the ownership group, the LA Dodgers. The consortium consisted of Guggenheim Partners controlling partner Mark Walter, also includes Magic Johnson, Peter Guber, who owns half the Warriors or part of the Warriors, Stan Kasten, Bobby Patton, Todd Bowley, Billie Jean King, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we got so, you know, the Fox had Rupert Murdoch. Fox had owned the Dodgers, sold it to Frank McCourt, and that's when things fell apart. And that's when Ned was there. Frank McCourt was going through a bitter divorce, big bankruptcy. It was pretty bad. So I want their television deal, guys, 25-year contract worth $8.35 billion.
That's all you need to say.
The Dodgers television deal has been controversial with a distribution dispute that locked out wide swaths of LA. Yeah, you can't even watch the Dodgers in LA, most of the market. It's crazy. It's really bad. Let me see. I wanted to show their net worth. I haven't looked on here. Okay. It's not showing me on here. Yeah, Guggenheim Walter is worth $12 billion.
That's it.
Yeah, but the other people are worth so much.
Magic, once he got out of basketball, I think at one time he owned, what was it, like 10,000 movie theaters? He owned 2 chains. I mean, he's worth mint.
Yeah. Well, guys, we're going to get out of here. We've been going a long time. I'm tired. our lives usually don't go this long anymore, but we got a lot of Giants fans that want to talk ball. Guys, we're keep it here at NorCal Sports Network. A lot of good things coming. We're working on some things with some things that,
And Dan, the meetings start what, Sunday night?
Sunday night, yeah.
So, guys, next weekend, if there's any news about Giants picking up anybody, we'll have a show. Once Soto's done, we'll have a show. So, it'll be like when Farhan, you guys, doesn't matter when Farhan got fired, we were on within 10 minutes, and the place went crazy.
Yeah.
One of our biggest shows, and it was during the day, like on a Tuesday.
Yep. We had the thumbnail ready to go. Guys, how would you like it? I don't know if it's going to work out. Still working on it, but would you like some reports next week from Dallas, from the winter meetings? I may be able to. That was part of my phone call I was on when I left the show. So we'll see. I don't know if it can be worked out. Major League Baseball really cracked down on giving credentials out. And that's why, wasn't able to get in with the Giants. It's not just me ripping on Farhan. Part of it, a lot of it is just they've cut back on their credentials. But I'll see. Had a phone call on it tonight. But we're working on some things, guys. We'll see. But guys, thanks for watching. Really do appreciate you guys. I'm losing my voice, if you can tell here. So tomorrow is Thursday. Is there a Warrior game?
In Houston?
Yeah. So we'll be on tomorrow night, Thursday. Dan, if you're rich, you can get in. They closed it to the public. They used to have it open to the public, but they closed it. So we'll see. You need credentials now. You need Major League Baseball credentials to even get into the winter meetings. So we'll see. We'll see if I can do it. It's a long shot. I'll just say that it's a long shot. So we'll find out here in a couple days, maybe. I have to know because I have to get my flight. But anyway, thanks for watching NorCal Sports Network. We got you covered here. Giants baseball, Warriors basketball, 49er football, and soon to be another team that we will be working and covering. Okay. So thanks for watching tonight, guys. Great chat. Great.
Thank you, chat.
Comments. Philip, thank you so much. Have a great night. Always appreciate all you guys' content and your comments. Great to have our Evansville, Indiana connection tonight. We had two in there. We had Don, Truth Hurts Wilkie. Good. We got some really solid baseball people in this chat. Lisa T, good night. Thank you for being part of
Lisa.
NorCal Sports Network, joining. And check out our videos. Give our videos a like. Go watch that. Do me a favor, everybody. Go watch that video, 5-minute video with Ned Coletti that's out there today. I told you about it. It's let me pull it up here again for you.
Dallas, that is a big negative. Dallas, that is a negative.
What is that? What did he say?
When you mentioned there could be another team, he mentioned the WNBA, of course.
No, Dallas, we will not be covering the WNBA on NorCal Sports Network. You will have to go find somewhere else if you really love the WNBA. It's not a sport that I particularly can support. I like Caitlin Clark, and I think she's an awesome player. I think there's some other awesome players in the league, but when you start trying to maim your star player, you're just, you're not bright. Yeah, this is go check out that video right there, guys. Giants need Sasaki. It's only 5 minutes long. You'll hear it from Ned. Go give it a like on there, and it helps boost the video. Giants need Sasaki. Ned Coletti explains why he thinks it would be great for the Giants to sign Sasaki, and that would be really cool if you guys would go give that a listen to. Jake, thank you for the compliment. I appreciate that. I know I have my detractors, and rightfully so. Not gonna rub some people the wrong way, and hopefully it's not like baseball and I'm only hitting 300 and I make the Hall of Fame. I hope I'm hoping that I'm more like Steph Curry's free throw percentage with the most of you watching, instead of a Major League Baseball player's batting average. I'd like to think I'm about, if I could get 94% of the people watching this show that like me, I'm doing good, right, Lou?
Correct. They ride you when you make one little mistake. One little mistake, and Dan, why am I even watching this show? You're the worst. It's unbelievable. But when you pull something out where you were the first of, nobody comes back to say, Dan, you were first to say that. And that's been happening a lot.
Lately, it has been happening a lot. I can name 3 or 4 things, the Logan Webb deal, the sell the Giants team.
Shanahan being sold.
Shanahan being traded.
Yeah, traded.
Purdy not worth $60 million. Would wait on paying Purdy to let him play next year on his 4th-year contract. And if 5th year, if you still like him, you can still franchise tag him. You really don't have to pay Purdy long term. For 2 more seasons you can get out of him. 5 years. Why? And you can franchise tag a guy a 6th year. I'm just saying, there's certain times, if you can't find another quarterback to come up and develop in the next couple years, I mean, you should be able to, find somebody. I don't know. No reason to pay Purdy right now, in my opinion.
And why pay a guy $60 million when you have no offensive linemen to protect him?
Exactly. That is ridiculous. That's again putting the cart before the horse. What did Kansas City do? They went out and they got rid of Tyreek Hill, and they got younger receivers, and they built their offensive line to make it, like, hey, we got an investment. We might want to protect it. It's kind of like if you have a really nice car or house in a certain area, you might want to put an alarm around it or a fence around it.
It almost makes too much sense.
It's like, gee, I think, hey, we got this beautiful home. Let's leave the doors wide open.
Yeah.
Hey, we got this great quarterback. Let's get these crappy offensive linemen to see if we can get them hurt. It's like, come on. Oh, guys. All right. We could go on and on, but we'll get out of here. Thanks for watching, guys. Really do appreciate you guys being here. Let me find the band here for us. There we go. And or turn it down. Let's turn it way up, Lou. See what it sounds like way up.
I'm in.
Good night, everybody.